Let's talk a little Guardians, guys. We were going to do playoff X Factors yesterday. And then we got to the Guardians topic, and next thing you know, the Guardians topic was over. And no one mentioned an X Factor except Tyvis. So, Bull, because you dropped the ball on this yesterday.
Yeah.
We'll start with you. Who is your – it can't be a superstar. Who's your X Factor in the playoffs for these Cleveland Guardians?
Well, I'll start with the first round that they're going to play. And at this point, I'll assume they're going to play the Tigers, although certainly the Astros could come back. But since they've gone to this format, the teams that won the first game are 8-0, so I'll say the Tigers win the series. My X factor is going to be Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas has been, after a terrible first month here, everybody wanted to run him out of town. He was great. And those numbers obviously overall don't look good, but he was great in September.
Look at his September numbers.
Yeah,
he was the best. He was the hottest hitter.
I think he had all 7 of those home runs in September, at least 6 of them, and most of those 23 ribbies. Plus, what is he best known for? Crushing lefties.
Yeah.
What is Tarek Skubal? A lefty. So, with Jose Ramirez, hopefully Steven Kwan, Naylor, you're going to trust these guys because they're your best players. But there's some other guys that you're going to need to contribute. And if you're going to have, against the Tigers, you're going to need to hit. They got a lot of lefty pitchers. They run out a couple of lefty bullpenners. You saw Tyler Holton yesterday. You saw Will Vest yesterday. They both pitched great. You're going to have a guy besides your top guys that can hit lefties. That's the guy. That's their best chance, and I think he's a big X factor in their first round series.
Yeah, I'm with you
against the Tigers.
I'm with you,
and by the way, if you face the Astros, their best pitcher is also a lefty, Framber Valdez.
Yeah,
so.
but the reason I went with Lane Thomas, definitely for the Skubal piece of it, for the lefties, but also in the playoffs, it's so important that you can run, and Lane Thomas can run.
Yeah,
I mean he is a legitimate base stealing threat. He runs the bases well. I wanted to go with Manzardo, but I don't know what we're going to see with Manzardo in terms of pitching matchups.
He was my second choice.
Yeah, he's my second choice too. It was between Thomas and Manzardo. I really think, I was watching, I can't remember which of the games it was, one of the broadcast crews, I think it might have been Detroit, talked about the importance of the bottom of the lineup in the playoffs. And I'd been saying that all through the season. I said, what is the blinking red light on this team is the 7, 8, 9 hitters. They were all hitting at one point at or below 200. And you just can't give away the equivalent of 3 innings in a playoff game.
Yep.
You can't do it. And so I'm focusing on the bottom 3 of the order. They've got to – now, they had games in September when the rest of the order was underperforming, that the bottom of the order was getting it done. So
I thought Rocchio played his best baseball in September.
Much better in September. Yeah. And Rocchio was the poster child of the 7, 8, 9 hitters that were underperforming.
Yeah.
So it's got to be, I think in that order, Thomas, Manzardo, and then if you're in the 7, 8, 9 slot, you can't be invisible.
I would say Manzardo, just because, he can get hot. I mean, he played 23 games and had 5 home runs. Yeah. And so that –
after a terrible start when he was first up.
Yeah, I mean, the May and June was not great, but then he got better. I just feel like, in a game, well, I mean, every game in the playoffs is huge. He can win you a game with one swing.
Remember, Oscar Gonzalez was a playoff hero 2 years ago.
You talked, Dustin you mentioned before, football game, it's all prisoner moment, right? Yeah. And in baseball, you can't do that, but in the playoffs, you do.
Sure.
Every pitch.
In the playoffs,
every pitch.
You follow the games like you do a football game,
you do.
where everything, every moment matters, because you lose one game, that could be it. So, to your point on Manzardo, he's their best prospect. He played like it when he came back, his second tour of duty with the team. He has legitimate power. Wouldn't surprise me next year if he hit 25 home runs, and nobody else on this team besides Jose and Naylor hit 25 home runs.
I'm with you. I would expect him to hit at least 20.
The only reason I picked Lane Thomas over Manzardo is Lane Thomas is going to play every day. Manzardo's just going to play against righties.
Which is why I had him number 2. How many opportunities is he going to get against lefties?
But he could be speaking of that 7, 8, 9 in the lineup, if you're facing a lefty, let's say Skubal's pitching or Framber's pitching for
you throw him in the bottom.
Okay, well, late in the game, I'm bringing in Manzardo to pinch hit for my 7, 8,
Oh, absolutely. Particularly depending on who's pitching, but you're absolutely
right. In a big spot.
Come on, man. You guys, why y'all do that? Why y'all going to go with these hitters?
Yeah.
That's
who you got?
Listen, I got Hunter Gaddis. He's the Adam Miller this whole playoff
Andrew
series.
Miller.
Andrew Miller. Adam Miller used to be.
Adam Miller is our former news director.
Right.
Now he's technically president of talent.
Didn't the Indians many years ago have a good prospect named Adam Miller, and he just didn't pan out?
Yeah,
I feel like that was the case.
I feel like, but listen, Hunter Gaddis.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, I can't count on Ben Lively. I might not be able to know what I'm going to get from Bobby or Williams. But when you're talking about the Guardians bullpen, the best part of their team has to dominate.
Yeah.
Like, they can't take a step back, and they can't say, oh, well, listen, he came in and got hit hard. You know what you got out of Class A, right? You know that's lights out. If you can get to a point where you get Hunter Gaddis and these guys in the bullpen, and you say fifth inning, it's lights out, the Guardians shorten the game on you real quick.
To the point of Hunter Gaddis, in my mind, Hunter Gaddis has been too good this year to put him into that category of X Factor.
Yeah.
Same thing with Cade Smith. But
this was non-star.
Yeah,
but
can the bullpen guy be a star?
Well, Andrew Miller wasn't a closer, and he was a star.
But I'll tell you what, if you're going to go the bullpen, to me, an X factor is Tim Herron because he's your lefty.
Herron's
great.
And he's your lefty. Like, you know, your three best relievers are Clase, Gaddis, and
Cade Smith.
All in one. All in one.
All righties. But you're going to bring in Tim Herron when you're facing whoever you're facing. You got to face a big lefty in the fifth inning.
You need that out.
Big lefty in the sixth inning.
guy.
That's when I got to deploy Tim Herron.
And it's fun because when you watched them back in 2016 and you knew they was going to the bullpen. Now they burned my man all the way out. But if you can get to a point where the Guardians is like, oh yeah, we're up 3-1. You about to see all.
Yeah.
If they have 3-1 leads in the sixth inning of games, you can just about wrap them up.
Night.
And the good thing
Night.
compared to 16 is in that year in the bullpen, they had Miller and Allen, who were sensational. But that's it. They only had two guys you trust.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's four now.
At least four.
Clase, Herron, Gaddis, Cade Smith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And by the way, I don't think I mentioned this here. And I still haven't looked it up yet. I think I mentioned this with Zach yesterday. And I don't know if this has ever happened. Maybe it has. But the Guardians, I wonder if they'll be the first team ever to do this. Have somebody finish top 5, Manager of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, and Rookie of the Year. Have a top 5 finisher, but nobody wins from the Guardians.
That's rough.
Now, I don't know that that's going to happen.
What about like 95 and 97?
I don't know.
I don't remember that anybody won postseason award.
We'll have to look it up.
I mean,
I'm doing a piece on the 94 Indians because it's been 30 years. And I've talked to a lot of the Indians or Guardians players and Tom Hamilton. I've been researching that season a lot. One of the things that people, I think, if you didn't experience that summer, you probably don't know or you've forgotten. When the season was canceled, August 14th or 12th was the last games.
Yeah.
They were 19 games over 500. They led Major League Baseball in 5 offensive categories. Hits, runs, RBIs, home runs, and batting average. This team was absolutely playing lights-out baseball when they turned the lights out on baseball.
Right.
Is this
insane?
Yeah. I don't listen. Class A, I think his ERA what is it? Point something.
It's under 1.
It's 0.6.
Yeah.
But you take a look, and I don't know, is this rare? Cade Smith 191, 74 games. Hunter Gaddis 157. Herron is 192.
The Guardians have the best.
Can you have 5 or 6 dudes with an ERA?
The Guardians have the best bullpen, or at least as of 2 weeks ago. I don't know what it finished, but I'm sure it didn't get affected much. As of like 2 weeks to go in the season, or 10 days, they had the best bullpen ERA in a decade.
It's crazy.
And I think like the 5th best since the 2000s.
I would expect that held because they.
So they're probably held. I mean, even if it didn't hold, it's the 2nd best.
Well, they have the best bullpen in baseball, and it's not even close. And if the Guardians are going to win the World Series, they're going to have to continue to play that way, and they're going to have their. Jose Ramirez has not been a good playoff hitter. Nope. When you look at his postseason splits, they are not good.
Let's see.
Now, I hate saying that about him because he has no weakness to his game. He's actually a 6-tool player because effort isn't a category, and it should be.
If I remember,
this guy is a 6-tool guy, but his playoff numbers have not. I think he has 4 postseason home runs.
If I remember, I thought he struggled in 16. I remember Lindor playing
Yes,
well,
he did.
but I don't remember Ramirez playing that
So
well.
his career OPS in the
I think he's hit
postseason,
240 in the playoffs, somewhere around
his
there.
career OPS is 638, which is very bad.
Yeah,
However,
bad for him.
that's bad in general.
It is, but there are
That's-
guys that get by with that, but not superstars.
Well, an OPS of 638 is really bad. 715
That's
is
Andre Semenis.
particularly when you look at where he is as in the regular season.
right.
There is a precipitous drop-off from Jose Ramirez regular season to Jose Ramirez playoffs.
However,
And this might be the year that he shakes
in the
that.
last time he was in the postseason in 2022, he was 10 for 30, which is obviously 333. He had 3 extra base hits, 4 RBIs in 7 games.
No home runs, though, right?
1 home run.
Okay.
He's hit only 2 home runs in the postseason.
Which is stunning because he's been there a lot.
Yep. He hit a home run in the World
32
Series
games.
against the
Yeah.
Cubs.
So 2 home runs over 32 games is not Jose Ramirez. Now, the good news is he got hot that last little bit of the season.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this week does to a hitter. I can tell you that it's not helpful.
Yeah.
It's rare that a hitter takes a week off and comes back and blows it up.
Right. And just to defend Jose, you're right. He hasn't been good in the postseason. However, there have been a lot of great players
Look at Judge.
that were not good in the postseason, and then all of a sudden, like Alex
Buckeyes.
Rodriguez for years,
Yep.
terrible in the postseason, and then he had that one postseason with the Yankees where he was unstoppable. Well, Greg Maddox's numbers in the postseason, except for 1 year, not amazing.
No,
so
you're
there's
right.
been a lot of great players.
You're right. And-
Hopefully,
and-
this is the year he puts it together.
He's due.
Yeah.
I mean, he's certainly due, and I don't think
Yeah.
it's the moment being too big for him because close and late, Jose is fantastic.
If
So
some-
we know he's a clutch guy.
Yep.
And there's nothing more clutch than October baseball. Let's just hope that he sheds that October demise and comes out swinging and has a great playoff series against the Tigers and carries it on.
Jay, give me if somebody gives you a magic number and they say, blind study, the Guardians have to average how many runs a game for you to say, oh, that's a nice sweet spot for them to win a World Series?
I'd be comfortable with 4, little over 4. I think their pitching staff is a lot better than people are giving it credit nationally. I had a conversation not yesterday, 2 days
Starting
ago.
rotation?
Pitching.
Oh,
no, pitching
okay.
in general. Because let's face it,
4 runs?
everybody focuses too much on the starters in the playoffs. Now, it's easy to do, and when you got a guy like Skubal, of course you're going to focus on him. But he only went 6 innings. The Astros got 9 outs against their bullpen.
Yeah.
So, the last thing a manager ever wants to hear is moaning in the dugout about a starter staying in the game longer. And obviously, the more you see him within the game, the better your chances are of you getting to him. But I look at pitching in general, and I think the Guardians' pitching is now. I also have to have the best of all of them. I need the best Boyd. I don't need the shaky Boyd. I need the best Gavin Williams. Because when you look at the best of all of the Guardians' pitchers, and you can't say this about every team in the playoffs, Bull, when you look at the high-end performances of all of our pitchers, it's good enough. But with Gavin Williams, who am I going to get?
It is.
I don't know.
But I mean, Boyd, the high end is a pretty small sample size.
Yeah, but he's looked really, really good when he's been really good.
I know, but that's only for a couple of weeks this year. He's
you
never
can't
been
ask
that good.
You can't ask a guy that's never looked good to suddenly in October look great. That rarely happens.
Yeah,
what you need these guys to play at the peak of their performance.
Sure,
and that's going to be good enough.
I don't have any
No one
faith.
seems to
I
answer
don't
your
have much
question.
faith in their starting pitching outside of Bybee. I
gonna
think
see.
they're going to
We're
need a
talking
lot of innings from their relief pitchers, and I think they can win that way. I think the smart baseball people, if you listen to MLB radio,
I do a lot.
Those guys talk about it all the time. Like nobody, I don't think people are obsessed with starting pitching. I think that's an old school
No, I
mentality.
thought the broadcasters during yesterday's games, in particular, were focused a lot on the starting pitching.
Well, there was some good starters.
There
went
were, and
yesterday.
you're always going to get the best in game
Yeah.
one, provided that your rotation lines up.
Right.
But I think more so in 2024 than even 2016, because I think that's where the game is trended. Look at our best pitcher threw 190 some innings, I'm sorry, Skubal.
Yeah.
Skubal threw like 190. This is a guy that goes deep into games.
right.
So it's a different game.
It is.
And in the playoffs, as you know, everything is micromanaged.
Right.
So you get I was, quite frankly, I thought that game almost got away in the second inning yesterday from the Astros. Now, they shut the door after that point, and they were great. But I'm not sure how much leash the Guardian starters are going to have if they've given up 3 runs in the first 2 innings.
Oh, they're out.
They might be gone.
Outside of maybe Bybee, they're out.
He's the only one that deserves it, too, by the way.
And that's the advantage the Guardians have, is they have a depth of high-quality arms that nobody else has in the pen.
And that's what I'm focusing on.
And that might include a Gavin Williams. Like, there's a possibility they're going to use him out of the pen. There's a possibility.
Yes, I think they will.
Because I think, and Zach is convinced that they want to start Alex Cobb because they believe in Alex Cobb.
I do, too.
Even though he's only pitched 16 innings. And if you don't use him in the division in this first round, then what are you going to do? You can't all of a sudden you pitch him in the championship
No,
series?
but listen, I'm with Zach on this.
Yeah.
And not just believing that the Guardians are going to.
Yeah.
If I'm the Guardians, I absolutely throw him.
But it's risky.
There's a risk there, but I've seen his stuff when his fingers aren't boogered up.
Yeah.
And his stuff has been, he took a perfect game into the 7th inning.
Yeah.
He, last year, late in the season, threw a no-hitter for 8 2/3 against the Reds. I know what his A game looks like, and it's good enough for the playoffs.
And unlike the rest of their pitchers, he's pitched in the postseason. It was a long time ago.
It was a long time
But he has pitched in the postseason. And so they're going to trust him, I think.
I think they should.
I wouldn't be surprised if he went Game 3, especially if they're up 2-0 in that series. But it's going to be interesting to see how they deploy the bullpen, because I can see a scenario with any of the Guardian starters outside of Bybee that if the starting pitcher's in trouble in the first inning, they'll go to the pen right there.
It's going to be the shortest leash we've ever seen.
And remember, this is a huge advantage for the Guardians. Only games 3 and 4 of this series are back-to-back.
You're right.
Everything else, there's a day between 1 and 2, between 2 and 3, and between 4 and 5. That's a huge edge for their bullpen because, in theory, they could pitch Clase, Smith, and Gaddis in all 5 games if it went that far.
If they had to.
And they'd only be pitching back-to-back days once.
I know.
That's
huge.
it.
We got a huge schedule break, and thank goodness that we got it. So we'll see. But I think if you score more than 4 runs, I like our chances.
You should win the game.
I like our chances.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Guardians have bullpen, base running, defense. Those are their big edges over the rest of the competition.
Yeah.
They are the best bullpen,
And you know what, Bill?
best
They
base
do
running,
have
best
power.
defense.
Like, I know that we don't think of them as a power team, but they've got guys capable of powering up.
I said it yesterday. In 2022, if they fell behind, they were in trouble.
Big trouble.
Because they had no power.
Yep.
Last year, when they were bad, they had the
worst
power we've ever seen.
Yeah.
This year, they're not elite power-wise, but they're good. They finished 12th to 13th, whatever the hell it was. They're good enough because you got 2 studs, obviously, and you have enough other guys that can pop one.
Yeah.
Last year they had 5 useless players in the lineup. There's going to be no Miles Straw. There's going to be no Austin Hedges in the lineup. So, you got guys that can, hit 10, 12 home runs, which is better than 3, 4 home runs.
No question.
I like their chances, and there's things that they do well that the other teams don't. That's their advantage.
Yeah, I love the fact that I like that you brought up defense and running.
Yeah, because those are not thought about, really.
Look at Dave Roberts' stolen base in the year that the Red Sox finally broke through.
Yeah, came back down 3-0.
They were down 3-0.
Yeah.
It looked like they were going to be swept.
Yep.
They put Dave Roberts in as a pinch runner. He steals a base, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
They broke there, and I like this team's got 4 guys that I think should have the green light to run whenever they want.
And it's not just the stolen bases.
It's
the ability to take that extra
go
base.
first to third, go second to home.
And that not only gets you an extra base, it could also lead to a bad throw. Now
Sure.
now the outfielders know, Jose's running, or Jimenez is running, or
it puts pressure on
whatever. It puts pressure on, extra pressure,
Right.
and it leads to more bad throws.
Absolutely does. You guys didn't say much during that, so what do you think?
Yeah.
You didn't answer Garrett's question.
They answered it at the end.
Yeah, the 4 runs. I caught that part, but it took a while to get there, though.
Bull, he got excited.
I was
he
rolling.
was coaching third base the whole time.
I felt like I was watching a tennis match, like this and that.
By the way, speaking of coaching third base, we have, for our fall league, the championships are next week because they got rained out this past Sunday. But this Sunday is our All-Star games.
That's right.
Of which I'm the head coach of one side because I made it to the World Series. But we're playing them at League Park.
Oh, we played some of our Pan Am games.
Isn't
at
that
League
cool?
Park.
Was it?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just so I could say I hit a ball over the right field wall, which is where Babe Ruth hit a home run there.
That's right, you and Babe.
I stood at first base after one of the games.
There you go. You and Babe,
Why
both
not?
pitchers and hitters.
We both sailed one over the big wall at League Park.
Only
gotta
Jay
get.
can pull off me and Babe Ruth. Same place.
That's right, baby.
That's right.
I said, hold on. I didn't
Oh,
just
I mean,
that in.
I think this guy can pull it off too. I mean,
We're the
Adam's
same age.
That's